The son kicked his father out to please his wife, but then Jesus taught him a lesson he'll never forget. The rain fell softly over the quiet town of Cedar Hollow, tapping gently against the window pane of Thomas Reed's modest living room. Inside, the air was thick with tension. Thomas stood with his arms crossed, eyes locked at the worn suitcase at his feet, his father's. "Dad, I'm sorry," Thomas muttered, not meeting the old man's eyes. "Sarah says she can't live like this anymore. She says you're too much, too slow, too much." Elias Reed, 82, stood trembling in his threadbare coat. His hands, weathered by decades of labor, clutched the doorframe like it might anchor him to the only home he'd known since his wife passed. His eyes, clouded with age, but still deep with sorrow, searched his son's face for any trace of the boy he once carried on his shoulders through sunflower fields. "Son?" Elias whispered, voice cracking like dry bark. "I only ask for a corner, a chair by the fire. I'll stay out of the way. I'll even sleep in the garage." But Thomas shook his head. "It's not up to me, Dad. Sarah says it's her or you." Those words hung in the air like a death sentence. Elias nodded slowly, picked up his suitcase, and stepped into the rain without another word. Weeks passed. The house felt emptier, colder, despite Sarah's cheerful decor and constant chatter. Thomas tried to ignore the gnawing in his chest, the dreams where his father called out his name in the dark. He buried himself in work, in scrolling, in anything to silence the guilt. Then, one evening, as Thomas walked home from his office job, he passed a small alley near the old church. Something caught his eye. A man sitting on a crate, wrapped in a tattered blanket, head bowed. Beside him sat a bowl with a few coins. Thomas slowed. The man looked up. It was his father. Elias's face was thinner, his cheeks hollow, but his eyes, those eyes held no anger, only quiet sadness and something else, mercy. Thomas froze. Before he could speak, a well-dressed woman walked by, wrinkled her nose, and muttered, "Beggars these days, no shame." Elias merely smiled faintly and looked down again. Something inside Thomas shattered. He rushed forward, voice breaking. "Dad, I didn't know you were out here. I'll take you home, right now." Elias shook his head gently. "Your wife said I wasn't welcome, son, and you chose her." "I was wrong," Thomas cried, tears mixing with the evening drizzle. I was weak, selfish, Suddenly, a warm light filled the alley, not from street lamps, not from the moon. It came from behind them. Thomas turned. A man stood there, tall, gentle-eyed, wearing simple robes, his presence radiating peace so profound that Thomas dropped to his knees without meaning to. "Jesus," Thomas breathed, even though he'd never been deeply religious. The name came out like a prayer he didn't know he knew. The man smiled. "Thomas, do you remember what your father gave you when you turned 8? Thomas blinked. My first bicycle. He saved for a year, working double shifts." "And when you fell and broke your arm trying to ride it?" "He stayed up all night by my bed, holding my hand." "And when your first child was born and you couldn't afford diapers?" He emptied his savings account without telling me. Jesus stepped closer. And yet, when he had nowhere else to go, you turned him away for a woman who sees him as a burden? Thomas sobbed. I didn't think. I just wanted peace at home. Peace, Jesus said softly, is not found in silence. It's found in sacrifice, in honoring those who gave you life. He knelt beside Elias and placed a hand on the old man's shoulder. A golden warmth spread through the alley, and Elias's shivering stopped. His eyes brightened. Your father's love never wavered. Even when you abandoned him, he prayed for you every night. That, Thomas, is the heart of God. Thomas crawled to his father's feet, weeping. Dad, please forgive me. Come home, I'll protect you. I'll care for you like you did for me. Elias, tears streaming, pulled his son into his arms. I never stopped loving you, Thomas, not for a second. In that moment, Jesus disappeared, but his presence lingered in the warmth, in the quiet joy that filled Thomas's chest. Back at the house, Sarah was stunned, but when she saw the raw remorse in Thomas's eyes and the dignified grace in Elias's, something in her softened. She helped prepare a room for him, apologized quietly, and even began joining Elias for morning coffee. Months later, on Elias's 83rd birthday, the whole family gathered, grandchildren laughing, Sarah serving cake, Thomas holding his father's hand. As the sun set, Thomas whispered, "Thank you, Dad, for forgiving me." Elias smiled. It wasn't me who taught you the lesson, son. It was him. And in the quiet glow of that evening, Thomas finally understood. Pride may win arguments, but compassion wins souls and saves families. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to ACA Story Tales. Your support helps us bring more stories of faith, redemption, and second chances to people who need hope. Comment below. I choose compassion. Your words might be the light someone needs today, because every act of kindness echoes in eternity.